What's up guys, today I explain you a complete timeline of Ichigo, Kurosaki's life in Bleach. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe this channel, because we are close to hit the 1200 followers and now have fun with the video.
Chronologically, Ichigo Kurosaki's story began with the contents of some happy and tragic flashbacks early in the Bleach anime. Early in the story, viewers saw a young Ichigo happily spending time with his adoring mother, Masaki Kurosaki, who was the glue that held the entire Kurosaki family together. In those days, Ichigo was a happy, carefree kid, and unlike his teenage self, Ichigo was a pushover who was prone to crying. He joined a martial arts class alongside a girl named Tatsuki Arasawa, only to struggle with the lessons, and that brought him to tears. Then, as Tatsuki noted, Masaki's arrival instantly cheered Ichigo up, bringing a radiant smile to the boy's face. That scene established Ichigo as a good-natured person who loved strong interpersonal connections. Even if he was also an introvert by nature, it was also an early example of how the heart was central to Ichigo's life. Loving bonds meant everything to him. One rainy afternoon, when Ichigo was still in elementary school, he was walking alongside the riverbank with his mother when a vicious hollow named Grand Fisher attacked. Ichigo was helpless as Grand Fisher butchered his mother before his eyes, a traumatic experience that totally changed him. On the outside, Ichigo never lost his loving and caring side, but the trauma did form a hard outer shell around Ichigo's warm, fuzzy heart. That event turned Ichigo into a grief-stricken tsundere, a punk unable to fully process the loss of his beloved mother, Masaki. Ichigo's outwardly happy, smiling self practically vanished, replaced by a standoffish, scowling tough guy who didn't easily let people into his heart. Evidently, that was how Ichigo chose to protect himself after getting hurt, and he kept it up well into his teenage years. He even gained a reputation for being a scary punk, something he enjoyed and identified with. Ichigo Kurosaki trained hard with the eccentric but powerful Kasuke Urahara to get ready for his next mission, and Chad, Oraheim, and Yuryu bravely volunteered to help. It was the first time Ichigo formed a serious team of heroes for a shonen-style adventure, and it brought out the best in him. Ichigo fancies himself the lone defender of his friends and family, and his name can even be read that way in kanji, but Ichigo doesn't have to be alone. He has an intangible heart with all his friends, and that hardened his resolve. Like any classic shonen hero, Ichigo was all about the power of friendship, even if he wasn't flamboyantly sentimental about it like Monkey D. Luffy or Natsu Dragneel in other anime. During the Soul Society story arc, Ichigo and his friends fought a variety of Soul Reapers of increasing strength, and Ichigo's first major battle pitted him against Lieutenant Renji Abarai of Squad 6. Renji wanted to uphold Rukia's execution sentence to fulfill his duty, but after that duel, Ichigo convinced Renji to put friendship first, and Renji implored Ichigo to save their mutual friend Rukia. It was another fine example of how Ichigo, for all his violent delinquent ways, is all about friendship and helping others, and it was inspiring more and more people in Bleach. Through his actions, Ichigo had his own talk jutsu, and it worked again when Ichigo fought Captain Byakuya Kachiki with his brand new Bankai, Tensa Zangetsu. During Ichigo's final fight with Byakuya, a new party entered the fight, one that neither combatant expected to see. Ichigo had hollow powers in him, and those powers manifested as a hollow mask that formed over Ichigo's face, granting him greater strength. Neither fighter understood what was happening, and Ichigo felt like it was cheating to defeat Byakuya with that power, and he rejected it. Ichigo had his honorable side, after all, even if the stakes were high, and he was cautious and practical enough to reject any power he couldn't control or understand. Ichigo successfully fought Byakuya to a draw, convincing Byakuya through his actions that Rukia was worth saving. Byakuya, for all his reverence for the law and tradition, started seeing things Ichigo's way and even took a blow to protect Rukia from the traitorous Sosuke Aizen and his allies. Thus, Ichigo returned home as a friend of the Soul Reapers, but his woes weren't over yet. In the Thousand-Year Blood War arc, A variety of Bleach's heroes were pushed to the brink, then did some introspection to reassess how and why they fight. Even the seemingly perfect Byakuya Kachiki was pushed to that point, as was Ichigo Kurosaki. The Royal Guards members sent Ichigo back home to Karakura town, where Ichigo finally learned the full truth about his late mother from his father, Isshin. That launched an intriguing flashback arc about how Ichigo's parents met, with Isshin being Captain Isshin Shiba of Squad 10, and Masaki Kurosaki being a teenage, pureblood Quincy. They fought a powerful hollow called White, and after White's defeat, it infested Masaki, poisoning her body. To save her, Isshin had Kasuke Urahara transfer Isshin's Soul Reaper powers into Masaki, turning Isshin into an ordinary mortal man. Then, Masaki and Isshin fell in love, and once Masaki was old enough, the two of them married, forming a household together. Their firstborn, Ichigo, inherited all of his parents' powers and even the remnants of White, which formed the basis of Ichigo's inner hollow. As Ichigo later realized, his inner hollow was his true Zanpakuto, while the original Old Man Zangetsu was actually the embodiment of Masaki's Quincy Po. Hence Old Man Zangetsu's physical resemblance to the Quincy King, Yuach. That was when Ichigo finally overcame his grief, bidding a fond farewell to Yuach Zangetsu and embracing his hollow as his true soul Zanpakuto.